Welcome back, everyone, to Beyond the Helmet. I'm your host, Steve McGrath, and before we chop it up with my guest today, please go ahead and hit subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment, a 5-star rating, anything to help get the message out there, because I'm about to talk to Grambling State's biggest prospect right now, the man that everyone wants to know more about after he crushed it at the Senior Bowl. It is none other than David Moore. Dave, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. No, yeah, thanks for having me.
I appreciate you taking the time, man. You know, we are just a couple weeks out from the NFL draft.
Yeah.
So the pro days behind you, all football activities are behind you. How are you doing right now mentally, trying to keep it together and just killing time until that day comes?
Just sticking to my routine. I mean, I go work out in the morning, you know, and a lot of recovery afterwards. So that's the same routine. I've been doing it since I started training, for the most part. But for me, I really don't let the jitters or the nervousness get to me. Even when I made my decision to, opt out and just knowing this moment was going to come one day, I never really let it get to me. But I would say it'll start to get to me, I guess, towards the day of the draft or, the 3 days, and just having my peers, my mom, my family around me, and just seeing their reaction if God blessed me to get drafted.
You know, it's so easy as an outsider to look and talk about prospects, but from the Thanksgiving 2019 until today, you've essentially had like 7 or 8 days of football activities to judge in, a year and a half what your future is going to be. So, I mean,
Yeah.
how does that weigh on you that like we are so far past the last time you actually played a game for Grambling State, and here we are, and people are just judging you off of literally a couple days out of the last 500 days?
It's crazy. I mean, the way you just put it is that's crazy. It is crazy. I mean, hopefully I put up some good film that, they can go off of and, take that chance on me. I mean, they won't be disappointed.
So how do you feel about the pro day, since that was actually the last thing you did?
I feel I had some good numbers. I could have did better, but for the most part, I mean, just to be able to set, have the scouts, really like my performance. That's what, everybody will always want to do better in certain things, but at the end of the day, I think I had a solid performance.
Yeah, and I mean, what you did on at the Senior Bowl stands on its own. I mean, how much pressure did you have going into that? Because again, just not having played, you opt out of this season after your season got postponed. I mean, how much pressure were you putting on yourself to show up and show out?
Um, to be honest, I mean, the way I see it, yeah, it's a lot of pressure at the end of the day when you think about it. But for me, I just wanted to go out and play my game. For me, I thought I had nothing to lose at the end of the day. That was my mindset: just go out and be myself and have fun, and and try to dominate on the field. So that was my mindset. At the same time, when I think about it, like afterwards, just all the pressure, like you said, coming from a smaller school, HBCU school, and just trying to be the person that shows that we can play at the next level, that we belong, and just trying to inspire the guys that's still at the smaller schools, that if you put the hard work in, they're gonna find you at the end of the day. So just being that guy to do that, it was an honor, and I'm grateful.
So I have to ask though, how much during the process and after did you see your name popping up? Because I mean, you had a meteoric rise of, I'm sure most people are like, oh, who's this guy? But by the end of the week, everyone knew your name. I mean, what was it like for you just sort of seeing all these different articles, people like myself wanting to reach out to you? I mean, how do you keep a level head when all of a sudden you're like, oh, wow, people know who I am?
I don't know. It's a lot of love. I feel the love. It's a lot of love, and I appreciate that a lot from everybody that, just even the negative comments, you know what I'm saying? They still, got my name in the mouth. So at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate it. But it doesn't change me. I mean, I see it, either, smile or make a frown face, like, after a crazy comment. But, at the end of the day, I go along, go about my day. But for the most part, I just appreciate, having my name out there, getting more exposure.
It's like what they say, any publicity is good publicity.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
I just wanted to ask a little bit about your weight because
Yeah.
I'm not sure what you last played at while you're actually playing at Grambling, but
Yeah.
from what I saw, you came in at the Senior Bowl at 350, but then you had cut a bunch of weight by the time Pro Day rolled around. So how much did just your weight and the shape you were in, what played into your decision making on trying to hit certain marks for certain events?
Well, when I weighed in at the Senior Bowl 350, I was shocked, just like everybody else in attendance. Like the scouts, you could hear the chatter in the room about my weight. Because like when you look at me without the pads on, I look just like everybody else, a bit 320, 325. I hold my weight well. For me, it was like, man, okay. My thought process was, okay, I'm here now, so I gotta go out and still to show I can play at this weight. So I think just being able to show I could play at 350 was, crazy. So at my size and just show my athleticism, that was crazy. So just imagining myself, cutting some more weight and being able to keep my strength and move even faster. I think they'll have a lot of teams drilling at their mouths. So for me, coming from the Senior Bowl, I wanted to install a lot of cardio because, prior to me going to the Senior Bowl, I didn't really do a lot of cardio. I did some cardio, but it wasn't as much as I need to be. So just really, hammering down on the cardio and I guess the little fat or whatever baby weight started to shed off. And I started to feel, a lot more better. So, continue to improve on that. I went to the combine the other day. I weighed in at 330, 332, 331. So just maintaining that weight. I probably dropped another 10 pounds though, for the beginning of the season. So I'm excited.
Yeah, man. Well, you're about like what, 6'1"?
Man, they had me at 6'2". They had me at 6'2".
6'2", got it right. So, but even at 6'2",
Yeah.
all right, so it's not as the differential isn't as big, but I mean, you might be a little bit shorter than some of the guys you go
Yeah.
up against. And I'd
Yeah.
imagine that having that extra weight, though, it's even harder for you to be moved around because now you have the leverage and then also the density where you're
Yeah.
not really getting moved off your spot.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I mean, these guys are like some walking trees nowadays. So just being in the trenches, going against them, it's some great battles at the end of the day. For me, I just gotta be able to use my size to my advantage. I try to look at guys like Jason Kelsey, Rodney Hudson, Shaq Mason, and see how they use their size to their advantage, and see some of the things I could take from their games and interpret into my game. So, just being a student of the game first and foremost, and going from there. But I got some long arms, for a guy my size, so I try to take advantage of that as well. So, once I get them on you, it's like some vice grips. So, I just try to do my thing.
Now, I'm glad that you mentioned a couple of guys that you look at maybe similar body types, because I want to talk to you about just your learning curve. From
Yeah,
what I could see, you only played 2 years of high school football. Is that right?
yeah, yes, sir.
So how? I mean, you talk about starting at very little and then ramping up very quickly. The level of competition you're going up against. How have you continually put yourself in a position to not just learn quickly, but learn it and then execute it at a high level? Because you've basically done that for 6, 7 years now, maybe
Yeah,
5, 6 years.
I mean, growing up, I played a little bit of pee wee. I played fullback. I played fullback and running back. I used to. I could tote that ball. I used to tote the ball. I got some ball carrying vision. So going from there, I kind of shied away from it. I wouldn't say shy away from it, just got away from it. I used to just, go outside. I got a close family on my mother's side. We kind of nip tight. My grandmother, she's the backbone. All my cousins, we go play basketball, toss the football around, all those type of things. So we was real close. But once I got into high school, my freshman and sophomore year, it was mostly a basketball school. The football team would go probably 1 or 2 wins. Those first 2 years I was there, so I was like, man, I don't know about this. But my peers, my friends, and the coaches, they kept begging me to come out there my junior year. So I finally went back out there. We actually won, improved 6 games, I believe, from like one win the season prior. And then my senior season went to the state championship. So, just having the whole city out there was amazing. Just to have them root for us after it was like a 55-year drought or something like that. So they had the whole city out there just, rooting for us and chanting for us. And then I went to Grambling. I didn't know much about HBCUs at the time. So when the offensive coordinator at the time came on a home visit, he started telling me about the history of Grambling, and I became a little bit more intrigued. And I went on a visit, and I fell in love, and I've been there for the past 4 years. Freshman red shirt, sophomore year, we went to the HBCU national championship. Red shirt, my red shirt freshman year. Then my red shirt sophomore year, played, started, and then this year that really got me on the map, my red shirt junior year, in 19. Really sitting down and putting the work in, because Grambling we don't have certain facilities, like certain nutritions and meals like other schools. So I had to get out the mud. I had to do what I had to do. I was working at Lowe's in the summer, and I would take my checks and I would meal prep myself. Just we'll have 2 days. I work out, run, and continue to watch my weight and put the right things in my body. And I was starting like Aaron Donald, almost had a 6-pack and everything around that time. So just putting the work in and really just trying to put myself in the best position to where I could reap the rewards and the benefits. So here I am.
That's awesome, man.
Yes, sir.
No disrespect to any coordinators or positional coaches, but I mean, that's Coach Fob's program that he's running there. So can we just talk a second about how he's been able to, they were in national championship games just a couple of years ago, still obviously a very strong program, but what is it about what he's doing that makes Grambling such a good school and a good football program?
Well, Coach Fob's, first off, besides,
I'm not going to talk about this year. I'm not going to talk about the start they're off to right now, by the way. We're going to look right past it. This is a weird year. It doesn't count. It counts for nothing.
Yeah. We got some reinforcement coming in the fall. We ain't got to worry about that. But first and foremost, he teaches us to be a man, because at the end of the day, football only lasts for a period of time. And afterwards, you gotta get on your own. You gotta, get. He wants to, the first thing first. When I first got on Grambling campus, he was like to everybody, the recruits, before you leave this program, you're gonna have your degree. So that's one thing he's big on, is making sure all his players graduate and and going from there. So he teaches us how to be a man first, proper way how to dress like a man, road trips, like what was going on road trips and all type of things. So he's a great person, great character, and he's like a second father away from home. So he really built it upon he really brought Grambling back to life, during those times. So I appreciate him a lot.
Now, you see non-Power 5 conferences in those schools have guys go to the combine, the NFL, year in, year out. It feels like it's particularly difficult to find HBCU guys that make it through. So while I think in general there's a stigma against any non-Power 5 team, school, conference, I mean, in particular, it feels even harder for guys in your shoes. I mean, do you feel that, or is that just an observation from the outside?
I mean, of course, when you think about it, I can think of the last person that was invited. I think Titus Howard was invited, and when he came out, but for the most part, that's the only person I could think of within last 5 to 10 years that I know of. But when you think about it, people think about the competition of the competition level, and they just think they're now on the same level as the bigger schools, SEC, Big 2, the Power 5 schools. So, they just kind of overlook, I would say the SWAC, for the first and foremost, I don't think this, the SWAC doesn't get as much, credit as the other smaller Division I schools, like North Dakota State, those type of schools, they kind of get recognition even though they're a smaller school, but just those conferences over there. So just showing that we can play at the end of the day, that first and foremost, that's what matters most. And as long as they do the scouting and whatever, they find some hidden gems, but we don't get as much love as we should. But it's cool though. I mean, I think the stigma is starting to, slowly, break away. Hopefully, I'm the person that can, help that matter, that cause, and have more people, looking at the SWAC or the smaller schools, the HBCUs.
Absolutely, man. You're 100%, leading that charge for football. And I know that I'm forgetting the guy's name, but there was that like top basketball recruit like last year, the year before that chose an HBCU school. Dion being a coach. I mean,
yeah.
so it's happening.
Yeah.
Like it moves at a glacial speed, but we're seeing
Yeah. Yeah. Most definitely. Most definitely.
Now, I did just want to pick, I hate saying Quentin Nelson because everyone says Quentin Nelson. But, when you look at what it's going to be like, I mean, this time a year from now, you would have already completed a rookie campaign. I mean, are you looking at anyone? I know you mentioned a couple guys, but do you realistically look at tape of them or, there are other guys, or do you even look at, what guys on the defensive line are doing to just sort of better prepare yourself for what might be thrown your way?
I mean, yeah, we always, as a football player, especially going to this next level, you always want to study your opponents. So that's something you never get enough of. But yeah, when it comes to players, I would say mostly my game reminds me of Quentin Nelson. When we talk about, that's the guy I like to watch. He's a nasty mauler just like me, and then he's athletic to get out there on the screens and in the pool. So I feel like I can do those type of things just like him. So just trying to continue to get some things off from his game and interpret to my game as well. So I would say Quentin Nelson for the most part. What's another player? Larry Allen, old legend Larry Allen for the Cowboys. I've been watching, some of his highlights, especially when I was back in school, but now I'm watching them again. Just looking at him and how he dominated, and trying to be the same way.
Go on YouTube and look at Larry Allen, the videos of him in like working out. The amount of weight that dude can move.
That's a grown man. That's a grown man.
Before we kind of wrap up the 2020 year, I did just want to ask, how did you actually think through the decision to opt out? Like, what was the series of events of you find out that your season's postponed? How long did you think through your options? How did you ultimately decide to forego this, year that, playing now as opposed to when everyone else did? And, how does that road ultimately lead you to training with Bruce Matthews?
Well, when COVID first happened, I was still in Louisiana, Grambling, Louisiana. They kind of shut everything down, so I was kind of stuck at first. I can only really go to work at Lowe's, and once I kind of made a decision, like, yeah, I can't stay right here. So I surprised my mom and I went home for my birthday. Surprised her. I transferred from the Lowe's in Grambling, and I had transferred to the Lowe's in Little Rock, Arkansas, where I'm from. So from that point on, I just, continued to work out as if we was gonna have a fall season. I couldn't, really lift weights, like, because of COVID, but I would go to the boxing gym. They was in training camp, so that was some tough work. Boxing, there's some crazy cardio. So boxing, aerobics, anything I could do just to stay in shape and stay fit. So I was doing all those things while working. And as we continue to get closer to the fall season, I started to really think, like, when I started hearing news about we might not have a season, I was like, in my mind, I was like, yeah, I feel like I was good enough to get to the next level now. I feel like, why not? I feel like, it's that time. So For me, it was hard though. It was hard not playing my senior season because at the end of the day, it's your senior season. You know, you only get one of those, and just go out on a last hoorah with my brothers. You know, that would have meant the world. Just try to run the tables and make it back to the national championship. So um, it was a tough decision overall, but at the end of the day, I had to do what was best for me. So once we found out we wasn't going to have a season, I talked to the coaches. I talked with my parents about my decision. I felt like I was ready. The coaches said, you got your degree. You did what you had to do. You came and got your degree because at the end of the day, that's all they cared about. As long as you leave this institution with your degree, that's all that matters. So I had my degree, and the rest was history. I signed my agents probably mid-October, and I headed to Houston. I told my agents what I wanted to do. I told them I want to go somewhere where I can get a lot of individual work, not where it's going to be a lot of guys, so I can really, hone in on my craft and, have somebody really there to really be able to teach me. So he said, okay, we're going to Houston. We got the place for you. So I went to Houston, and the rest has been history ever since.
Very cool. Well, man, as we get to wrapping this up, as Coach Fobb said, you got to get that degree before you leave. You got your degree before you left. So whether it's in criminal justice or anything else, are there any aspirations, anything you're thinking about for after the football career?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of things I want to do, but I mean, it depends on how much time, I want to be a businessman coming into the league. Like I want to get some things started as I get into the league. So, I want to start a trucking company with my father, and with his experience of 30 plus years of trucking, maybe some real estate, um, and invest. I want to invest a lot. So, as much as I get it, I want to be able to, have it make money for me. So when I get it, you know, continue to, yeah. So that's the plan. I really don't want to work after I'm done playing football. So, hopefully I can put myself in a situation where I don't have to do that. So the plan is to, invest and, make smart moves and save my money overall. I mean, I'm a stingy guy when it comes to money. I don't like spending my money. So I ain't got to really worry about that. But yeah, that's some of the things I want to do, kind of be my own little entrepreneur or, so say it, and go from there.
Very cool. And as someone that's busted his butt working at Lowe's, you know what it's like to earn a paycheck. So I
Yeah,
have full confidence
man.
that
Ooh.
it's going to be money well spent, well saved. Well, Dave, man, as we wrap this up, I got a couple quick questions for you. It's called the Gauntlet. I need your knee jerk answer on a few things. What's
Okay,
most
okay.
important, having the number one offense or number one defense?
It's a great saying out there that says defense wins championships, but if you have a great offense, who's gonna stop you? So I'm gonna have to go with a great. I'm going to great offense because I play offensive line and I want to be able to say I played for one of the greatest offense to ever play the game of football. So I'm gonna have to go offense.
That's fine, but tell that to Patrick Mahomes. It didn't really work out in the Super Bowl.
Hey, come on now, come on now.
There's
That's
no
why
wrong answer.
That's why the Chiefs. Hey,
Hey. All right. Pre-game. Is there anything on the playlist you have to listen to?
uh, I got kind of variety, but I'm gonna have to say I'm forgetting his name right now. Phil Collins. I got that in
In the
the
air tonight.
air tonight. Yes, sir. I gotta have that. They give me chills every time I listen to it before a game. So I gotta have that. Maybe some some hip hop rappers, hip hop artists, Lil Durk, maybe Meek Mill. Give me hype, those type of guys, and really just go out there and go from there.
All right. Love it. So what's most important? Is it the players or is it the scheme?
Hmm. I'm gonna have to say the players because at the end of the day, the players have to go out there and be able to do their thing in the scheme. So I'm gonna have to go with the players.
Best position on the offensive line: center, guard, or tackle?
Well, it depends on wherever team puts me, so I'm gonna have to say either center, either center or the guard. But yeah, if I was to play center, I would say center because they basically the quarterback on the offensive line. You know, they make the calls, they make the reads and everything. Make sure the line is communicating first and foremost. So I'm gonna have to say center position. And if I was to play guard, I'm gonna have to say guard because you know, they the anchor. You know, they're the guys that handle the guys, the big maulers, you know, in the trenches, you know, get them up out the way for the run game. Or you got some guys on the defensive line that's some tweeners that can play DN. They come in and play 3 tech, fast and twitchy, you know, be able to handle those guys as well. Um, being physical and, you know, being a person that comes to help a lot. So, you know, I'll say that as well for the guard position. So, you know, it's a toss-up, center and guard. I mean, if I was to play tackle, I used to play tackle a little bit in high school. I mean, if I was to say tackle, you know what I'm saying, I played left tackle, so, you know, it speaks for itself, the blind side, when you play left tackle, you know. So I say that when it comes for the left tackle.
Wouldn't take the bait. All right. All right, man. I got one last one. It's the most important. You know, given everything that you've been able to do, not just this last year, but just going from 2 years of high school football to someone that's obviously going to be playing on Sundays. What's the best piece of advice that you'd give to a young teenager that looks to you and says, "Hey, man, how do I get there?"
If you don't like it, where? Like it, how did you get there? Okay. Really, you know, we go through a lot of adversity in life, you know, but it's how you overcome the adversity, all those things. So just being able to see it through, you know, that was my biggest pet peeve, seeing everything through. I mean, I went through a lot of things in my life, and you know, just being able to overcome those obstacles and, you know, continue to be level-headed, level-minded, and you know, continue to complete the task at hand. So if you have goals and dreams, you gotta be able to, you know, really put the work in and the hard work and dedication that it takes to get there. So listen to your coaches. You know, at the end of the day, you may disagree with your coaches on certain things, but the coach gonna always be right at the end of the day. You know, just yes, sir, and, you know, go out and, you know, try to be better on the next play, or, you know, do whatever it is that he wants you to do. So that's the biggest thing. And, you know, being a team player, first, you know, not can't be selfish, you know, all about you, you know, because at the end of the day, the team is greater than one person. So just being able to be a team player, being humble, and you know, putting the work in, and being respectful and listening, you know, because, you know, God, He put 2 ears on your body and one mouth. So, you know, you gotta listen, you know, that's what they're there for. Just, you know, be able to take things in, knowledge, and, you know, and really just use it to your advantage. So continue to put the work in, you know, and all the other things I said.
Well, man, thank you so much for taking the time. As we wrap it up, where can everyone find you on social media?
Instagram, DMOORE60 underscore, Twitter, DAV60 underscore. And if you guys like to play the game, you know, Warzone, Madden, find me on PlayStation, Big Dave 60 underscore. You know, we can run some duos or whoever, trios, quad. You know, I'm down for it all because I'm one of the ghosts at Call of Duty right now. I mean, I'm on a high streak right now. I can't be touched right now. You know,
Oh,
can't be
throwing out the
touched.
challenge. All right.
Yes,
Well, man, it's been a pleasure. It's been awesome to watch this meteoric rise. For outsiders, it feels like it's out of nowhere, but obviously it's been a long time coming for you, and I can't wait to see what the future holds, man. Best
I
wishes.
appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate you taking time to talk to me.